Maurice Greene versus Sergei Pavlovich takes place on the prelims, for some reason, of UFC Fight Night 162, Singapore Maia versus Askren this weekend. It's going to be a good one. I like the fight. This is a big heavyweight one. Whoever wins this one retains themselves in the conversation, if that's a word. I think it is a word. And they remain in the conversation at heavyweight. I like that. There's a big conversation going on at heavyweight. Who's going to be the next up-and-comer? Which are going to be the up-and-comers that actually make it through the rankings and make it maybe to title contention? I know it's a big ask. But, you know, these are the questions we have to ask some guys. Especially when you're Maurice Greene and you're on a 2-fight winning streak. And when you're Sergei Pavlovich and you're young, you're fucking 27 for a heavyweight. That's like being 21 as a featherweight. Let's be real. Okay? 27 as a heavyweight. Only lost to Alistair Overeem, which... it's okay. It's actually okay. I picked him to beat Alistair Overeem. I thought he was just gonna... It was after the Overeem and Ngannou fight. I thought, you know what? If there's a time for Overeem to get chinned by a young up-and-comer who's undefeated and a big boy from Russia, I thought it was going to be then. So I picked him as an underdog, but Overeem showed that he still got it. Still a savage. Actually wrestled Pavlovich to the ground as well and done some ground and pound to him as well. I liked it from Overeem. I do think Pavlovich is still a threat. I don't think he's going to beat Maurice Greene. I've done some research. The good guys, I'm not talking about the shit guys or the shit records. The good guys that Pavlovich has beaten, the shorter ones with slightly worse records, he's been able to KO. The shorter guys. The taller guys, the guys closer to 6'2", which isn't even tall for heavyweights in the UFC, but over in Russia, there aren't many big heavyweights going around, funnily enough. You'd think there would be. Like, the stereotype from Russians is, oh, they're these huge, manly men. But in reality, a lot of the Russian heavyweights aren't very big. Like, Fedor's considered a giant to them, you know, and he's not huge. I'm bigger than Fedor. You know what I mean? The taller guys he seems to have a bit of a problem with. He doesn't like it when he can't get his own range. He doesn't like it when he's not the hammer. I feel like Maurice Greene's going to deal with him in decision fashion. I feel like it's going to be a slow fight. I noticed that the taller guys Pavlovich seems to take to a decision. He does seem to beat them, but I think that just looking at competition, whatever the fuck his name is, Maurice Greene's going to win this one. Looking at competition, I know 8-2 is a worse record than 13-1. The reach is in Pavlovich's favour, which makes no sense because Maurice Greene is something like 6'7". But he likes to use his kicks, which I can see coming in handy here. He has been cracked before by Juan Adams, who was Juan Espino, or whatever his fucking name is. I don't think it's Juan Adams. It's Juan Espino. He was on the Ultimate Fighter finale. Chinned Maurice Greene and then choked him out or something. I can't even remember. But Maurice Greene has some good wins on his record. Obviously, the legend and the GOAT of heavyweight division, Junior Albini, is in the mix. TKO'd him in the first round in his last fight. Beat Jeff Hughes, who is one of the only guys to beat him in his career. That's a good win. Jeff Hughes is no slouch. Jeff Hughes is 10-2 as well. 10-2. Mikel Batista on the Ultimate Fighter finale. A guy who a lot of people don't know about Mikel Batista. Out-wrestled DC in the Olympics. I believe he did. There was some history. I know the name Mikel Batista. I don't know where from. But I'm very certain he either had a fight scheduled with DC that DC didn't show up for. Because I remember that's something that DC did. He couldn't make weight. He had kidney failure or something happened in his Olympics. And then he might have actually beaten DC in the Olympics. Which is interesting. Because Maurice Greene submitted him in the first round. Which is very interesting. I like Maurice Greene here. I feel like the grappling advantage is going to go to him. He's a much bigger guy. Pavlovich doesn't like it when he's fighting a pretty tall fighters. So I feel like a 6'7" guy is going to be a real problem to him. Hopefully Maurice Greene can put together some combinations to get the finish. Because in my opinion, a guy who's on a 4-fight win streak at the heavyweight division is much more interesting than a guy who's on a 2-fight win streak. Which is Sergei Pavlovich. I just like it. And I feel like a win over Marcelo Golm, as much as it's a good win and a good name, Pavlovich, like, I don't know, man. I just don't rate the win. A lot of people bigged him up because he was 6-0 coming into the UFC. And then guess what happened? He lost 3 in a row. So he's not good. Yeah. Marcelo Golm got dealt with. I feel like Pavlovich is going to get decisioned here. by Maurice Greene. The reach is going to be too much. I've spoken about it with Maurice Greene before. His eyes are such an advantage because he can be checking out what's going on in the corner whilst he's looking at you with one eye. So he'll be looking at you one eye here while the other one's just like, hey, what's the corner telling him over there? What's my corner telling me? What are the commentators saying? That's what he can find out. Who's in the crowd? Is that Dan Hardy in the crowd? He can just find out these things. I like Maurice Greene here. He's a big, tall guy. I feel like the winner of this one should maybe take on the winner of Rosenstruik versus Arlovski, which would make sense, but only if Maurice Greene and Rosenstruik win, because that would be a good fight to have between them two to decide who would go on to take into the rankings. Arlovski versus Pavlovich would be a good one. Arlovski versus Maurice Greene. The winners of each should fight each other is what I'm trying to say. Or maybe the winner should take a fight against Stefan Struve versus Ben Rothwell. That makes complete sense as well. There's so many fights at heavyweight, man. There's so many good fights. You've got Overeem Walt Harris coming up. Maybe the winner of that one wants to take on someone else. I don't know. Maybe the winner of that one takes on Curtis Blades in a rematch either for Overeem or in a new fight for Walt Harris, I believe. He may have lost to Curtis Blades. I'm not sure. But heavyweight division is so fucking stacked. And you got two more guys. 6'3" Sergei Pavlovich. Eagles MMA Gym. Big fucking heavyweight with a big reach. 13-1. Only lost to Overeem himself. I just feel like Maurice Greene's going to be a bit too much. And Maurice Greene has the options here, I feel. So I think he's going to get the win. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Click that button there. Goodbye.